So we are going through some very interesting times right now where we are seeing banks are refusing to give us our money. If we go into a bank and ask for cash, the bank is most likely going to tell us no, or they're going to ask why. They want questions. They want to ask you questions and get answers so that they do not have to give you cash. One of the reasons why banks most likely don't have a lot of cash on hand. So I want to break down what's going on, what we are seeing, what just happened in Canada, but what we are seeing right here in the United States. So make sure you stick around and watch this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So I first want to play you a clip. This is from the Royal Bank in Canada, okay, where the banker, the teller, is refusing a customer's withdrawal. Just look at this. Just listen to this interaction.
Wait, I don't understand. What are you talking about?
So I will either give you a bank draft, or if you're gonna get cash, I will need an invoice for the car purchase.
Why? No, I'd like to. It's for the car's payments for in cash. I can't use a bank draft.
Are you buying from like a private?
Yeah, it's private.
person?
It's literally from my friend.
From your friend?
Yeah, but he wants it in cash.
Can he give you like anything say you're purchasing from him?
No, I don't. You don't need that. Bro, what is it? I'm only asking for 3.
I
What?
know.
What is this? It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account.
Yeah, so I can.
You said that. What's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the date. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah,
So right there, and we'll finish this in just a second, but this teller is telling the customer that the maximum amount that they can give is $3,000. Okay? $3,000 on the date. Now, with that said, he's asking for $3,000 and she wants to give him a bank draft. And then she's asking, well, do you have anything from your friend if it's a private sale? Really, a banker doesn't need that. Okay? It's your money, you should be able to access it. Well, here's the problem. We are now starting to see tellers asking more questions. Remember years ago when we were told that anything over a $600 transaction would have to be reported to the federal government. Okay? And many people shot that down. Terrible idea. They're not going to do it. They're going to pull their money out. They're just going to go cash. Here's the problem. Right now, if we go and pull money out of the bank and we get cash, the concern is there are many restaurants and businesses that are cashless, that they do not accept this as legal tender. Okay? It's a huge issue. Now, I want to read you a few emails I received and also comments. Okay? This is stuff that's been happening lately. And one of the interesting things is now banks are closing our accounts. If we come to the bank and we ask for, let's say, $5,000 and you are somewhat of a disruption, the bank will most likely close your account. It's crazy, but they're doing it. Okay? Now, I want to read you a few things first because what we are facing moving forward is the threat of cyber attacks as well. And according to the IMF, they say cyber attacks risk triggering bank runs. They say cyber attacks are becoming so frequent, malicious, and costly that they risk triggering bank runs, according to the International Monetary Fund. Said the fund warned that rising cyber threats now pose serious concerns for financial stability and could push companies into insolvency. It has sounded the alarm amid research showing that the number of malicious attacks has doubled since the pandemic. Now, let me read you a couple comments, okay? Listen to this one. And I quote, "Banks have been slowly refusing to give cash for years. My bank used to give up to $10,000 before the pandemic. Now they will give up to $3,000 in a single day unless you have a cash order. Do banks just not carry cash anymore?" Well, the answer is no, they don't, because the laws changed. Banks, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe they had to hold like 4% or something of the total amount on deposit. They had to hold so much, and I believe it was like 4%. Okay? Now, according to reports, it's likely less than 2%. So chances are it's going to be about 1%. That's crazy. Okay? So if a bank had $100,000 in the bank or $100 million in deposits, the bank would only be required to hold maybe $1 million, according to reports. That's crazy. Let me read you this one as well. It says, this whole cashless society is a nightmare. I was eating at one of my favorite restaurants, and they had a big sign saying that they only accept cards and Apple Pay. Right? No big deal. But if you pay by card or by Apple Pay, then they charge a 3% fee on top of your bill. So, and again, I think this is interesting because I went to a place just recently where they charge 3% on your bill as well if you use a card. Well, here's the thing. They don't accept hundreds. It says no hundreds and no 50s. So they only accept dollars, 5s, 10s, and 20s. Maybe quarters as well and pennies. I have no clue. But they don't accept 50s and hundreds. Okay? One of the reasons why many businesses aren't doing that based off reports is because 50s and hundreds, well, hundreds for sure. The $100 bill for the U.S. is one of the most counterfeited items. Okay? It's the holy grail if you can counterfeit that. All right? So that's one of the reasons why many businesses are not accepting hundreds. Now, I want to show you this because what we are facing is a cashless society. That's what everybody wants, right? The National Park Service sued over cashless entry at parks. It says historic sites across the United States. This is something that we see all the time. You go into certain venues like for concerts or sporting events, same thing. They are cashless. You have to pay with a card. Let me read you this one as well. Okay? And I'll read that in just a second, but let me show you this one because this is part of the issue if we go cashless. It says payment processing outages at UK retailers raise reliability issue for cashless transactions. And again, this is I'm talking about an issue for the US, but we're seeing so many issues in just Western countries. Okay? We're seeing so many issues. And if we go cashless, the problem is we can get shut down by a cyber attack. Just recently, I had a friend of mine that went into a local little restaurant and they couldn't accept a payment. They couldn't accept a payment with a card, but they don't accept cash. So you know what they did? They just told him, we trust you. Come back. Come back and just pay us tomorrow. Well, of course, he did that. It's a small little local restaurant. No big deal. But let's say you go to Home Depot and I got thousands of dollars that I need to go and I need to pay. Guess what? You're probably not walking around with thousands of dollars in cash. I get that. But if you cannot use your card because let's say there's an outage, what do? You think Home Depot is just going to say, oh, I trust you, Bobby. Don't worry. Come back tomorrow and you can pay for all that stuff. No. They're going to shut the doors and say you either pay with cash or you come back another day. Let me read you this comment. It says right here, banks not giving out cash has become a big problem as of late. But in my opinion, is when businesses stop accepting cash that things will get worse. And things will go from bad to worse in a hurry. Okay? Here's a country, Australia. They are going cashless, and their plan is to be that they will be functionally cashless by the end of the decade. So by 2030, we are expecting to see Australia is going to ditch physical money. That's going to be interesting. I want to read you a couple other comments as well. It says, this is getting out of control. A bank that I have been with for over 15 years decided today to close my account after I asked for $2,800 in cash. They said it was over their limit and that the only way they could do it is if I were to close my account. I didn't think they were serious, but they were. So he asked for $2,800, I guess. Closed his account. They closed his account. Let me read you this one. I went into the bank on Monday to get $2,000. I demanded cash, and they said to come back the next day. I told them no, I needed my money that day. Then on Friday, and they obliged. Then on Friday, I got a letter in the mail saying that my credit card with them had a lower credit limit. I'm guessing this is not a coincidence. So you go in and ask for $2,000. They give you your $2,000, and then come a few days later, you get a letter in the mail saying that, sorry, you do not have maybe a $10,000 credit limit. Now you only have a $8,000 credit limit. I'm just throwing that out there. You didn't give me any numbers, but that's something that I've heard before. Or somebody went into the bank and asked for about 50% of the money that they had. Okay, about 50%. I don't know exactly the amount, but all I knew was 50%. And then again, the next week or 2 weeks later, his credit card had been closed, and they asked for immediate payment. Interesting. But this is what we are going through. Okay, it's right here. But if you were to go into some of these banks, or you ask for money, or you start to become somewhat of a disturbance, here's what happens. Let me just show you this. Because all they're going to do is go and get a manager. Listen to the rest of this.
Why not today?
Today I would need a bank draft, or I would get an invoice.
But why you don't? So you need proof of what it is. Why is that? And why is that? Why is that? Why do you need me to tell you what it is? Why do you need? What kind of proof is that? I bring in a note. Like what? How is that? What is that going to change? I don't understand.
So that way
You need to give me my money. I'm not taking a bank draft. I would like cash, please.
Yeah, I won't be able to give you cash today.
Okay, wait. I'm just going to sit here until you give me cash. So I'm not going to leave.
Okay, if you want, you can have a sit there.
And then do what? Who am I waiting for?
I can get the manager to talk to you.
Well, yeah, get the manager, because this is it's unbelievable.
So in most cases, that's what's going to happen. The tellers are just instructed, they can't give you this much money, whatever. The manager's the one that you're going to need to talk to and try to work it out with them. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, certain banks will give you $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. Others are going to say, sorry, we can't give it to you. If you go early in the morning, you have a better chance of actually getting your money. If you go later in the afternoon or right before they close, there's a good chance they will not give you a thing. So that's what we know at this time. It's an interesting time that we're living in, where banks are refusing our withdrawals and potentially closing our accounts, but that is the times that we're living in. So that is what we know as of today. Again, as soon as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.